Welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Tech. Hey, you don't know, my name's Chad. Take a dive into sports. And this video is kind of like an NFL reaction / news video of some recent activities pretty much happened in the NFL within the past week, basically. And kind of go over some a suspension, some trades, some signings, some releases, and we'll kind of go dive into all that here in a few minutes. But before we get into that, if you could go ahead and smash that thumbs up for me, especially like the content that I provide you, really helps promote this channel out. You can also subscribe. Love you guys review my work and love y'all for doing that. Now, many of you subscribe. This costs you a dime. Helps me provide more entertainment value for you. Now, go over this. Kind of go over what happened with Calvin Ridley. We'll start off with his suspension that he just received from the NFL, and kind of give a little contents to that. And looking at Twitter feed and seeing the interactions back and forth between a bunch of people and their particular stance on this issue. Not many people are very happy with the suspension that he received, and compared it to other situations that other players have done and gotten less. And let's go ahead and just dive right into that particular aspect that while he was injured in Florida last year, he used one of those betting sites, parlay sites, to play some bets. While he wasn't playing, then bet saying, hey, Atlanta's going to win their game. I don't know how that was, but that's a different comment. And the NFL conducted, they got another organization that monitors when NFL contracted employees, means executives, referees, coaches, and players, place these bets. They flag the NFL with this, and the NFL had to do a little investigation. They realized there was really no insider knowledge per se with these votes, or not votes, but bets. However, while an individual who is employed by the NFL cannot partake in betting on NFL games, regardless of their position, or regardless if they're playing or not. This is to kind of perceive, to kind of create the image of the NFL as a pure, untainted sport in terms of its players, coaches, management, and referees, that they're not doing actions on there that would adversely affect the outcome. And with that aspect, the NFL then found that Ridley was guilty of this, and he actually somewhat admitted to this one, and he got suspended for the entire season. Now, there's an outcry about that suspension, but it's still a history of the NFL doing this with other players who have been caught in this similar situation since the merger. That once the player's been caught or investigated and found that they betted on games, especially games they were played in or part of, were out for the entire year. So that's just the NFL's way in ensuring that there's no improprieties between any of its employees and possibly gambling and affecting possibly the game, which leads to a whole nother kind of convoluted mess. Because the NFL's partnership with sites like FanDuel and the like, that this is going to happen. But it's just one of these things that the NFL doesn't want, because it puts it stains the integrity of the NFL. And then people are like, well, you can beat your girlfriend and get 2 games. There's video evidence of it, get 2 games or get 6 games. But you bet $1,500 and you're out for the year. While any domestic violence or assault itself is illegal and a bad image all around, that doesn't really affect the NFL as a whole. It affects the individual. Because that leads to criminal charges, possible jail time, which means you're going to be released from the NFL. If not, you're looking at suspension. You lost a pay because you also have to pay the fines, whatnot. And I understand that aspect that it's not, it doesn't look the same if you compare the two like that. Because gambling, you're not hurting anyone, you're just hurting yourself. But there was no insider information. Calvin Ridley knows the game. He knows the playbooks of the Falcons, so he knew what they were probably planning to do. No, he wasn't playing. He wasn't there in the meeting, so he didn't know their exact game plan, but he kind of knew the concept that the Falcons were going to use. Now, do I think, me personally, do I think it's a full year suspension? The NFL has made that precedent before, and as long as they maintain that, there's no issue with that. The issue I have is the suspensions for domestic assault or any type of assault charges. That is what I think the NFL needs to work more on to really hamper those players caught up in those situations. 6 games right now, I think it's the max I think anyone has gotten. In terms of that, definitely need to deserve, I think, a little bit more. Definitely somewhere around the right lane, right around the lanes if possible. At least half the season, if not more, to kind of really promote that the NFL players need to kind of control their temper, whatnot. But that's a different topic altogether, and I completely understand that it doesn't. A physical violent offense, it's treated with less extent than a white collar crime, basically. And I get that aspect completely. I could totally understand. But like I said, the gambling aspect affects the integrity of the game, the integrity of the NFL, while the assault is more the integrity of the individual. But I do think those type of actions by those individuals definitely need to see more stringent punishment than what you have right now. And then you start looking at, so that just kind of leaves the wide receiver market in flux. But, the people have to throw the ball. The quarterback market, there's been some few issues out there. And once again, on Twitter the other day, I'm talking about, how Aaron Rodgers signed his $200 million like a 4-year deal that made him the highest paid quarterback. And then all of a sudden it came out, Pat McAfee, who happened to be, a close friend with Aaron Rodgers. I don't say close friend, but at least a very close associate where he's able to, verify the information. And Rodgers like, no, that's not the money. But he has signed a contract with Green Bay to stay with the Pack for the foreseeable future. And the Packers have also franchise tagged Devontae Adams to ensure the dynamic 1-2 punch they got there is still in place. For me personally, I've said this before, the best spot for Aaron Rodgers to be at is in Green Bay. That's his best shot to making the Super Bowl. He'll dominate the North as per usual. I don't think there's any teams out there that could really vie for it. I think Minnesota's probably closest one right now. And for the NFC, I think right now it's a race between the Rams and the Pack. I think those are the top 2 dogs right now in the NFC. And why would he want to leave that for a more crowded market, say in Denver or possibly Indianapolis? So out there in the AFC. So for him to stay there, perfectly fine. I think the deal they're probably going to look at, you probably see him cake hopefully a cap-friendly deal to ensure that more talent can stay in Green Bay to better suit him, better load up that team to make a deep run and maybe overlook that debacle they had this past postseason where they just failed to defend Lambeau. And then probably one of the biggest issues that I saw that happened, not really issues, but it's biggest surprise. Seattle and Denver had agreed to a trade, And Russell Wilson is heading to Denver. He's leaving, getting away from Aaron Donald and the Rams defense and going to Mile High, and to that crowded AFC West where he's going to probably still be the number 2, number 3 quarterback in that division. Pretty much how he is right now in the NFC. And I really kind of find it kind of unique how they did that. I'm just kind of reading it here, so kind of bear with me. The Broncos have agreed to trade quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, defensive lineman Shelby Harris, 2 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round selection to Seattle for Russell Wilson and their 4th-round pick. So a bunch of picks, some players being added. So it looks like Seattle is in the process of blowing it up, basically, to rebuild. I think someone said they're not rebuilding, they're like reshaping. That's a rebuild. Because they've also released Bobby Wagner. I thought they would, after releasing Wilson or trading Wilson, they'll have the money to sign Bobby Wagner. They released him. So I'm looking at, Seattle is going through a whole process where they're looking at just rebuilding, getting younger talent, going in that direction, getting a young, high-profile quarterback, I think, because they got the 9th overall pick in this upcoming draft, and with the first round picks, is that this year's 9th overall pick, and then 2023's same thing with the second round picks is the number 40 overall in 2022, and then 2023 second round pick. So Denver coughed off a lot to get Russell for a couple seasons, basically. So with this, I think the Seattle is thinking a lot of non-quarterbacks are going in that early rounds, because a lot of people are saying that this crew of quarterbacks coming out are not the ones everyone's going to be really gunning for. But I think the kid out of Pitt, Kenny Pickett, is going to be a very good quarterback. We got Carroll down there at Ole Miss. Should be decent. Then you get the kid out of Liberty that I think everyone's really thinking highly of. Gotta put him number 3 myself, just because of I don't think he's really faced that much adversity really to really kind of look at it. He may have the tool set to really apply, but I think I really need to see him in some type of game film where he's going against high caliber defenses and see how he kind of responds. But the only time will tell how that one's going to pan out, and if they go after another quarterback, because we all know Drew Lock is not really that great of a quarterback. Do they go after that Mitchell Trubisky, whose name's been rumored now to go become a starter somewhere? I think right now Washington, the rebranded Commanders, to go and maybe be their starter. And you got Carson Wentz that could be possibly available now, which I think I will probably avoid. Jimmy G, that's out there. But like I said, for the Seahawks, they definitely are rebuilding. They're blowing it up, rebuilding. They still have Pete Carroll under the helm to help shape and guide this franchise moving forward. And with retooling that defense that was famous for that Legion of Boom that led them to a Super Bowl championship, 2 Super Bowl bids. So they're definitely going to find some new ways to kind of go about this. And we'll kind of see how things go from here. Another key signing is out there in LA with the Chargers. They ensured that their prime receiver Mike Williams is not going anywhere. Signed him to a 3-year, $60 million $60 million deal. There we go. Godwin out of Tampa Bay has been franchise tagged, so make sure those weapons for the Bucs stay put. Possibility that Amari Cooper could be released, which hasn't really transpired yet, which is kind of weird because that's been kind of by the time I record this video, which is the 9th of March, 4 days ago, it was kind of rumored they're going to release him. They haven't got released yet, so it's kind of weird kind of where that one's going. And I think looking at Dallas, they're going to probably save some money, and Amari's not really worth the money that they're paying him to equate to the production he's providing, especially when you got a rookie CeeDee Lamb that's really blossomed as a very number one target for Dak Prescott. So kind of see that one kind of happening, and it looks that things are going to shape up in this postseason. I'm sure things will get a lot of people talking, especially that Wilson trade to Denver. Kind of sounds familiar. That Denver got a old quarterback with previous Super Bowl experience, and they found themselves in the Super Bowl and winning one. No, 2 Super Bowls and winning one. I wonder who that was. Peyton Manning. So, does that mean Denver's going to go to the Super Bowl? No. But their possibilities have definitely increased and made a lot difficult road for Kansas City and the Chargers and actually the entire AFC West. I don't think it'll be a clear-cut Kansas City victory anymore. Definitely going to be a crowded race. So we'll kind of see how that one kind of plays out and look at to see how this transpires with the rest of the landscape, especially with the quarterbacks. Like I said, there's not many quarterbacks are being touted very highly in the draft this year, so you'll see a lot of backups. Well, not really backups. I think a lot of the quarterbacks looking at trying to make some good moves. You still have Kyler Murray possibly trying to get a new deal out in Arizona, and there's no little drama going there. You still got Deshaun Watson dealing with his legal issues right there in Houston. Once you'd be able to clear that, to possibly be able to find himself somewhere else. I think he needs to go to New Orleans. I think that'd be the best bet for him. Tampa Bay is still looking for a new on-field general. Does San Francisco let Jimmy G go and give it to Trey Lance? Does the Packers get rid of trade off Love? I mean, there's yet that one. Like I said, Mitchell Trubisky right now is getting touted as a starter somewhere. Do the Bears finally let go of Foyles and Dalton? Jetson those two highly overpaid backups, so that way they can sign some highly paid offensive linemen to keep Justin Fields upright. Those are some things you got to look at with the quarterback landscape. I'm sure there's going to be more news popping off within the week or so. You probably see, some other things come out, but really being suspended for a year is really divided. I think some of the nation about the how suspensions are handed out by the NFL about certain situations. Same thing with all the sport leagues. They ensure that players do not bet on games while they're under contract, especially in their own sport, because they can look like they are trying to change the integrity of the game. And that's something that none of the sport leagues want to do, regardless of how mainstream the gambling apps have become. Yeah, I know it's different than beating up your girlfriend, being shown a video dragging Ray Rice, and those punishments don't fit the crime either. So it's just something the NFL's got to work on in aspects, but the year suspension actually matches what they've done with other players throughout the years. And I believe there's up to 4 other players that done that too. So And then the Russell Wilson trade, they really loaded up the AFC West with 4 quality quarterbacks, especially with 2 that are going to be elite. Your top 50, top quarterbacks of all time. 2 younger guys that are definitely up there if you're looking at 75. Mo Russell will have a longer road to get to because of Kansas City, because of Baltimore, because of Buffalo. New England's no joke anymore. So you got to look at that. Cincinnati is another one. The Chargers. So his road to go in the Super Bowl is a lot more top heavy than it was in NFC. And speaking of NFC, Green Bay has ensured that they'll maintain their position to challenge the Rams and anyone else with hopes and dreams of taking an NFC title to go to the Super Bowl. We either have to go through LA or Green Bay first. So as I was finishing up this video, breaking news just came in. Carson Wentz's experiment in Indianapolis is officially over. He has been traded to the Washington Commanders for a couple of third-round picks. So Carson Wentz goes back to the NFC East to throw passes once again to the Philadelphia Eagles. And for the 6th straight year, the Indianapolis Colts will have a new starting quarterback on week 1. Here's my updated news for you. Just let me know what you think about that particular trade. Who got fleeced, or was it a good trade? Just let me know down in the comments below. Do you think Russell Wilson will make it a Super Bowl before Aaron Rodgers does? And what do you think about the Ridley suspension? I love the interaction. I'm looking forward to having some stimulating conversations. And while you're there, you go ahead and like and share, especially like this content. It helps promote this channel out. So you can also subscribe. Once you subscribe, you hit that bell notification. Let you know next time I post a video. And I will see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.